So as we're heading into the New York session for today, let's quickly see if we have any opportunities on Euro, Gold and GBP. So we'll start with Euro. So looking at the price action on Euro on the daily time frame, because we have a swing bearish breakout structure over here. After that, we have been following a bearish order flow, and then price came back up into this daily supply and we are reacting from here. So if you take a closer look on this price action over here, this is a high probability area, this daily demand, where I would be interested in looking for longs to take price up to target this liquidity over here or even this liquidity over here. So as a long-term play on longs, I would like price to come into this daily demand so that I can enter into long position to take price up. So my target is still this high and this high, so that we can sweep this liquidity and then look for continuation towards the downside, which would also align with price coming into the EQ of this swing leg over here. So on the daily time frame, this is what I'm seeing. Let's see on the H4. So on the H4, this is my bearish swing breakup structure. After that, the internal shifted bullish, and you can see the internal is currently bullish over here as well. We got another breakup structure. So currently we are reacting from this daily supply. So even though price has mitigated this daily supply, I am interested in looking for longs to take on this liquidity above. So as I mentioned on the daily time frame, and right now if we take a closer look, we can see that this low could be used as an inducement for this POI below. So this H4 demand and the daily demand is a great place to look for longs. And so what I think is, we have a supply over here. So what I think, maybe if price come up, sweep the Asian high over here, we can see a continuation of selling into this daily demand area over here. So if this doesn't happen, another possibility is that we could sweep these lows over here, price won't come into this H4 demand, and we could, if we get a H4 change of character, we can look for longs from the fresh H4 demand. So right now, coming into this session, New York session, maybe if we get a sweep of this Asian high over here, so I'm interested in looking for a short to take price down, even sweep these lows over here and take price into this H4 demand below. So this would be my first target. And for longs, I would only be interested for longs from this H4 demand over here, either a sweep and a change of character, and then from the fresh demand I would be interested in looking for longs. So right now, this is what I'm thinking on you. If you look at the 1 hour time frame, so if you look at the H1, we are currently at a H1 supply over here. So I still believe that we have now liquidity over here. So I believe that if price come and sweep this high and up and we get a change of character, I'm interested in looking for a short to take price down, target this liquidity, or even push price into this H4 demand. And to keep in mind that this could also fail, because this is the H4 demand over here. It could also push price up and we could see a continuation towards the upside. So right now I'm having a small anticipation that this H1 supply could hold price to take out this liquidity, and this is an inducement for the POI above. So this is how I am approaching EU going into this New York session. Let's see GU. So GU on the daily time frame, if you look at the recent price action, you can see we have currently mitigated this daily supply and we are reacting from here. So this was my target from past week. You can see that we finally took that out. And looking at the recent price action on the daily time frame, so I would like price coming into this daily demand over here, where I would be interested in looking for a long to take price up. You can also notice that this is like a trend line liquidity that is been forming. We have a demand over here. We could also expect price to come here. Maybe a later time we could see that, but for now, looking at the most recent price action and going into this New York session, what I think is, maybe if we are having a downside of price coming into this daily demand, we can have a short-term sell during that price action, and from here we can look for longs. So let's see on the H4. So on the H4, you can see that the swing structure is bullish, the internal structure is also bullish. We've swept this high, but we haven't candle closed above it yet. So right now we are currently at the H4 demand over here. We swept these lows over here. So two possibilities is, if we swept these lows, maybe if we get a H4 change of character over here, we can look for longs from this fresh H4 demand to take price up, if that is happening. And if that's not happening, we could expect price coming into this H4 demand. From here we can expect push higher into this daily supply over here. So if you ask me which is the most high probability zone to look for longs, I would say this H4 demand, which aligns with the daily demand, is a much higher probability area, because we have inducement over here. The inducement has been swept now. So maybe we could also expect price coming into this supply, which is on the H1, and continuing with the bearish momentum. So let's see on the H1. So on the H1, looking at the recent price action, so this is a supply that I marked and kept during the London session to look for a short if price is coming, but you can see price just came halfway, pushed back down, swept the lows, and currently it's consolidating over here. So if price come over here, I'm interested in looking for a short, but I would be more interested in a short on EU, because EU we have equal liquidity below, and on GU it's already taken out. So we have Asia session high over here. Maybe price would come, sweep that high, and then we could see a continuation to the downside. So we have a refined POI over here. Maybe sweep the high, mitigate this refined POI, and then push price down. So these are just possibilities that I see could be happening. So if we are looking for a short, either from here a sweep or price coming into this, and then we can look for a short to the downside. And longs, I would be interested from here for longs. So on GU, this is what I'm thinking. Let's quickly look at gold. So on gold, looking at the daily time frame, this was a swing break of structure over here. After that, the internal structure shifted bullish. Now we mitigated this daily supply and we are reacting from here. So we do have liquidity above over here. This is an unmitigated daily supply, where I think maybe price would come, which would also align with the EQ of the swing leg, and from here we can look for short to take price down. So right now you can see price has been consolidating over here, and this daily demand is a good zone to look for longs. We also have inducement over here. We could expect price coming down and then looking for a continuation towards the upside. It could also come here, but right now we can focus somewhere over here. So now let's look at the H4. So looking at the recent price action on the H4, you can see that we had this bearish break of structure. Price pushed down, swept these lows, and you can see it came back into the extreme supply. Now if we look at the structure wise, after this bearish break of structure, this H4 supply needs to hold price to push price to the downside to continue this order flow. But you can see that this H4 supply has failed to push price down. We had one mitigation over here. This is the second mitigation. This is the third mitigation, and the H4 supply is still failing to push price lower. So if you look at another way, is that the internal structure has been following a bullish order flow. Now since the internal structure is being respected, maybe this H4 demand could hold and push price up to take out these high over here. So I think this H4 supply is weak right now, and we could see price going to the upside. So if you ask me if I'm looking for a short, I would only be interested in a short after price break below this level. Then we can look for short to take price down, thinking that price is going into this daily demand, H4 demand area. And longs for me right now, we'll look at it on the 1 hour. So looking at the recent price action on the H1, you can see we have this break of structure over here. After that, price forming a bullish order flow came into this extreme H1 supply. Now this extreme H1 supply needs to hold price to push price lower, at least give us a sign and break below this level, so that this H1 supply is holding and we are continuing down to look for a short like this. But right now you can see this H1 demand is holding price, and you can see over here we swept the lows, push price up. Now again price came back into this H1 demand. Now if I am interested in a long, what would I like to see is price maybe coming down, sweeping these lows, and then giving me a change of character, where I would be interested in looking for longs, take price up from the fresh demand, expecting that this high is weak and also this high is weak. So right now you can see we are consolidating over here, and I would like to see a sweep of these lows, structure shift, and then I would be interested in looking for longs. So from the H1 perspective, this is what I'm thinking for longs. And for shorts, I would be interested after a break below this level, I would be interested in looking for short to take price down. So on gold, this is what I'm thinking going into the New York session. So also if you'd like to see more daily market analysis like this, make sure to subscribe. Also if you have any recommendation of any pairs that I need to include in the list, do let me know in the comments below. So I'm covering these 3 pairs because majority of them focus on these 3 pairs. So if you'd like to see any other pair, make sure to let me know. So that's it for today. I'll catch you guys in the next one.